stream. I don't know. Let's see if this functions. Waiting for E1M1 Network. I'm waiting for you, YouTube. Sheesh.
Oh, and now it has a GIF of somebody giving me 2 fingers and walking away.
Thanks, YouTube. All right, we're live on both. Hello to the internet. Thank you for joining us. All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
No, but okay.
So I fell down a rabbit hole and now I'm looking at a Snorlax sleeping bag.
My kid loves Snorlax so much, I need to not tell her about that. All right, starting in 3.
You do know that doing a Squishable Snorlax, it's like full size, right?
She doesn't know anything about Squishables. I'm trying to keep it down. I'm trying to keep Squishables on the down low.
Wife and daughter are hella obsessed with those.
Yeah. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello, friends.
And the Nymph.
That was creepy and don't ever do that again.
Why?
Why?
That's just his normal voice. Welcome to your first episode of the show. That's just what Moon sounds like. If you'd like to hear us talk about a real weird California adventure that my family took this week, you can check us out over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers, and that's the wrong brand, Boston. It's not California Adventure.
I know that's across the parking lot. Yeah. You can check out our Outcast, which is the uncensored sort of pre-show stuff we talk about before we go live here on the internet. Talk about usually everything else going on in our lives other than video games, like energy drinks or famous last words at a California theme park. Or
you can listen about how good the podcast industry's been to Boston lately.
Yep, it's been great. You can also hear about long cat body pillows and terrible cursed cookbooks. If you didn't listen to last week's Outcast, episode 784, that's one for the history books. That one was weird, man.
That was a rush.
Yeah, that was great.
It was spooky.
Oh, maybe. So you can get that over there. That's Patreon exclusive. You get early access to We Roguelike It, the show where Moon and I are getting through roguelikes. We're checking out as many of them until the heat death of the universe.
Even then, we will still be ghosts doing it because that's what
true.
is needed.
That's true. We'll have to rebrand it somehow, but we'll figure it out. And you'll get early access to Critical Misses. Show where Moon and I are going through all the media hits we missed. We're getting close to the end of the year here, which means we're getting close to taking a break, and we're seeing how many seasons we can possibly squeeze into this year.
We're all scared.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the next production meeting because it's going to be a case of do we have a seasonal season in us, or is it straight to the yearly season?
Right. Find out in the exclusive Critical Misses production meeting. $5 and up tier includes that, and that is usually Moon and I in between seasons. We have a quick episode of an hour and change where we talk about how the show's going, what we're changing, what we're doing, all that sort of stuff. It turns out that show has been really good. So if you haven't been listening to it, you should go check that out. It's been very good. And you should listen to all the shows. They're all very good.
They are. And for maybe not for this show, but for the bonus episodes, don't be afraid to go backwards.
Yeah.
Because I hate listening to my own voice, and I deliberately don't listen to this show because I'm on it. I'm on everything that we produce except for Pup, so I'll listen to Pup.
Right.
I ain't gonna listen to this show, but I have been going back and re-listening to some of the Critical Misses stuff. Season 1 is a banger, and there's like 5 or 6 seasons in there, which is just like, yeah, okay, that was a quality season all the way around.
Check
like,
out the Alien season. That first episode is a classic.
I completely forgot on that season that we were like, no, we're only doing 4, and then we did the 4. Like, nah, we're doing like,
yeah, now
9.
we're doing all of them. Come on, what were we thinking? Let's keep going. Yeah. So check out all of that stuff. Patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
Now that we're talking about sort of the production stuff, quick production note: it is the beginning of November, which means Game of the Year top 10 looms is getting closer here. So if this is the first year you've been listening, we do take a couple of weeks off at the end of the year. We do put out, that's when we put out our top 10 episode. We put out the 2023 predictions episode. But we have a lot more shows than we have had in the last couple of years. Those shows, in the interest of actually taking a vacation, we're not going to like quintuple record stuff for the next couple of weeks. So stuff like We Rogue Like It, stuff like Critical Misses, that stuff is going to take a break while we're off. So it'll take a quick 2-week break, but we will have this show running as normal. And I think Game Club will have a special episode at the end too, like last year.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind as December gets closer.
Red
Moon
line on content, so we do need to take our foot off the gas every now and again.
Yeah, and we're getting to the time of year where I think all of us are looking forward to taking 2 weeks off of the show. As much as we all love, yes, as much as we all love making it and producing it and planning it and all that stuff, we do need a break. So thankfully that's coming up soon. Moon.
Sometimes I like to stare at my PlayStation and not play it and not feel guilty about it.
That's right. That's right. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay, let me just actually get back to the correct show notes while I'm busy copy and pasting my predictions from last year, so I can make sure I get the format right.
It's easy. I'm done already.
Look, there's my predictions. You know what? Based on how the video game industry has gone this year, I could probably stick with most of those predictions.
What's Sony gonna do this year?
You're still going to get your prediction carried over to next year because it didn't happen this year.
To keep the pirate theme going.
The best thing is if you're a fan of the show and you've been listening for several years, you know immediately what that is because Boston's been predicting it since 2016.
Just keep it rolling, man.
Oh, by the way, someone scared me today by saying, "Hey, by the way, Final Fantasy X is 20 years old," and I almost died.
Oh, my heart.
The sun's playing through that right now.
There you go. It's a great one.
It came out 20 years ago. That's terrifying.
Yikes.
Ha 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 ha
ha
ha
ha.
It's the best scene from Final Fantasy X.
Yep.
Anyway, Dead by Daylight. So I played this as always with the crew. We had some good times. We had some bad times. I want to give Justin full props here in the /S at the end of this sentence. For those of you who don't know old school subtitles, that means sarcasm inbound.
Right.
Justin fully prepared to install and play Dead by Daylight on his PC well in advance of Friday, rather than jumping into a party with us and us listening to percentage number updates. Good job, Justin. But we did get everybody in eventually. We had a chat, we had fun, we played a whole bunch of games. Normally, I would skate right over this, because at the moment, I'm lost in that game. I don't know who I want to upgrade. I don't want to put blood points into a character without getting skills, but then in order to do that, I need to put blood points into a different character to get... It's a my brain is a mess, complicated kind of BS kind of thing.
There's a lot of thinking, and I don't want to.
Right.
Yes, exactly. But while we were playing, the very first match we had of the night was against and I don't say this lightly, an absolutely incredible Huntress player. Okay. So if you've played Dead by Daylight, the Huntress is the the very tall lady who hums a little tune and
Oh,
then
okay.
throws the axes. And depending on what loadout they're using, you can hear the hum, the tune before the terror radius.
Mm-hmm.
They also have perks that allow the hum and that music to fill the entire arena, no matter where you are.
Oh, that's spicy.
So Huntress can be a really solid person, but this killer that we were against was unbelievably good.
Oh wow!
Like, we were like, before even two of us had been on the hook, we were like, yeah, this is a really good Huntress player. Like, they're throwing axes and nailing us from like 50 feet away, kind of
Oh
thing.
jeez.
Which is not easy with the Huntress because you also don't get a reticle, I think.
Oh wow!
I
Okay.
was to say, is this some Call of Duty stuff where they're throwing the axe over the house and just like one-shotting somebody?
Yeah, it ping pongs 4 times and headshots someone.
Exactly, it's that kind of madness, and it's like I was just like, come on, this is way too good. Like, so we were clearly against a pro Huntress player, and that became all the more evident when like the rando we were playing with was on a hook. Me and Rob were working on a Jenny, so I came off the Jenny to go towards the rando. And then as I'm doing that, there's a big ski lodge in the middle of one of these maps. That was the map we were on, was the one with the ski lodge. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And this ski lodge has got like windows and doors, but it's a pretty solid structure. And as I'm heading towards the rando down the side, towards the side of the ski lodge, the Huntress comes out from the other side looking straight down the alley at me.
Oh jeez.
And I was like, well, okay, Rob, clearly I've been seen. I'm going to try and lure the Huntress away if you want to go grab the rando. So I'm at the corner of the ski lodge there at the other corner, and it's a big distance. Like, it's not a small distance, so I'm not in any real panic and trouble. And I just book it down the opposite edge of this ski lodge so they can't see what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I'm running, as I always do because I am a #pro gamer, I turn the camera around and I'm looking behind me to see if I can get an eyeball on them because I know there's nothing in front of me for a while.
Mm.
As I'm doing so, I look through this hole in the wall of the ski lodge and this axe comes flying through this hole in the wall and hits me.
Some real horror movie stuff.
That's so good.
This Huntress literally charged the throw through a window, past a bunch of debris, out a hole in the wall, and timed it perfectly to hit exactly where I would be.
Holy
if I
crap.
would have stopped running for a half of a second, it wouldn't have got me. It was just the most perfect timing I've ever seen in one of these throws.
Man, that's so good.
Like, oh.
So hitboxes are on point.
Yeah.
Like, it was insanely good.
That's
so,
incredible.
Of course, the match ends, whatever, and then it's like, oh, they're a streamer.
Ah, okay.
So we jumped over into their stream. Was like, yo, that was mad props for the Huntress play there. That was like a really good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up like, because as soon as it hit me, I walked around the corner. I was like, I don't care. I'm clipping this.
Yeah.
That was such a good throw. I can't not clip it.
Yep.
Like, it's unbelievable that hit me. So I have to clip it and just for the record's sakes of how good it was.
Yeah.
Then we find out it's a streamer, and I was like, oh, by the way, I'm just going to tweet you this shot that we were talking about so you know exactly how good of a shot it was that I'm talking about.
Right.
So they responded and edited their stream together with my clip.
Oh, wow.
So it's their point of view and my point of view at the same time.
Nice.
So I did retweet that. So if you follow me on Twitter or anything like that, you can go ahead and see that clip there because
let me see if I can pull it up here for the.
It was insanely good. It's like my clip's like 22 seconds. Theirs is 14, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it was unreal. Like, everyone who's seen it is just like, okay, yeah, that was a ridiculously good shot. And Threaders where it's due. We weren't toxic. We jumped into the stream. We said, yo, really good play.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, look, it was a little bit of luck. Like, that's what it came down to. Like, it was just a touch of luck. So yeah, he's playing it on the video stream now. But it is
like,
it's unreal.
Couldn't be a better shot, honestly.
Like it's so good. So mad props to that streamer, and they didn't have an ego about it. They weren't like, "Yeah, I'm that damn good" or anything like that.
Right.
It was just, I took a shot. Sometimes you get lucky,
Yep.
and it's like
I think it sounded like it caught him by surprise too, that he actually hit you with it as well.
Mhm.
It's like that ain't luck. That was just good.
Mhm.
Like that was It was perfectly timed, perfectly aimed. Through a building is the part that gets me. Like it's
Yep.
through a window and out a door. It's just like mad props to it.
Yeah, that's great.
So good on them for that. Again, you can go see it if you didn't catch it on the live stream. You can go see it on Twitter. It was chef's kiss moments of just like, okay, hands up.
Yep.
We're not going to complain about losing. And they even said,
you just got to give him credit.
Yeah. They said at the time, they were like, thank you very much for not DCing immediately as well, because so many
Right.
people will just DC
Rage
after the
quitting
first death.
yeah.
And it's just like, no, that's not how we play. If we lose, we lose. Like,
Yeah.
we're there until the end, be it good or bad. Hook or crook, wink. We're there till the end.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Uh,
Also, a
I
reminder,
can't help
this game
myself.
is free on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. And it's only $20 on PC on Steam. And probably on sale for like $3 pretty often on PC.
It's also on PC Game Pass, because that's how Justin was playing.
Even better. There you go.
Yep. So no matter your platform, there is a way to play it, and it's genuinely fun, especially if you can find a group of like-minded individuals. I did find out that SWF stands for Survive with Friends.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's not safe for work?
That's right.
Nope. Because I think the lobby used to be called Survive if you were doing solo, and then they would have Survive with Friends as a separate lobby to get a group together.
That's fun.
Now it's just jump into a lobby, invite the people you want to, and then just start searching for a match.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. It was great. It was stupid. It was a good night all round. Let's see. Fall Guys. So I took a break from the beans for a while.
I have too.
I played it a lot before going on vacation, and I literally haven't touched it since vacation. But I loaded it up the other day because somebody was playing it, and I was like, yeah, I do like playing that game. Slight problem.
Mm-hmm.
When you take a break, all of a sudden, you end up with a huge list of new games that you don't know how to play.
Yeah, because like one of the cool things about this team is they keep adding. I know there's like some big controversy where they removed a whole bunch of game modes recently, but like for the longest time, they've just been adding like 5 or 6 new games to each season, and that's kind of an impressive amount of content, even if they're removing stuff.
Yeah, I don't get it, because it's like, this is gonna sound derogatory, and I don't mean it to.
Oh, is Elitist Moon coming out being like...
No.
Okay.
How hard
is this that famous speech of "I'm not racist, but"?
You're right.
I'm no game designer, but how hard can it be to make?
How hard can it be to put? Just check the multiplayer box. Yeah.
But I was shocked. I was like, okay, I don't know how to do this game. I don't know how to do this game. I don't know how to do this game. I think it's the Ivy one where it's got like a bunch of like lily pads.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to spring across the lily pads to get to the end.
That one's a lot of fun.
Somehow I was in the lead for that, and it was a good, clean lead. And I was like, okay, I'm not great at this, so this must be a new one.
Right.
But I managed to get all the way to the end, the final lily pads, and then I was at the front, so I was like, okay, do a quick taunt and then jump on that lily pad and hit the finish line.
Right.
Did so, and I finally got my achievement for doing a taunt right before winning the race.
Yeah, I still don't have that one.
Yes, I'm never gonna get the win 5 rounds in a row one.
And I'm okay with that. It's fine.
I'm not, because I had 4 out of 5.
Oh, so close.
And then I missed it through 1 point.
Oh, bleh.
So I'm not happy about that, to say the
Yeah.
least. But it's Fall Guys. and I have the season pass because I had to get the season pass because the Xenomorph is in it, and then
That's great.
I had to drop another $20 on it because they had the Tron outfits. So of course I'm dressed up as not Tron, not MCP, bad guy from the first one. Can't remember his name. Big
that
red
guy.
outfit.
Yeah, I don't remember.
If you know, you know. But I do also have the Rinsler outfit too because every time I wear it, I just want to go Rinsler, because you know I'm a hooligan at heart. Apparently, is what I've learned. But you know, it's Fall Guys. You know exactly what it is. You like it, you don't like it, whatever.
It's still good. Like, it's still a great game.
Minor, don't even write this down, Boston. Minor acknowledgement here. Lego Star Wars. I'm done. Thank heavens.
Yeah.
So 68 gigs of hard drive space.
I got them back. And
what immediately filled it up?
Updates. Because every time I turn on my Xbox, it's like, this needs more space for an update.
I was going to say,
your Xbox
that it can't update.
Your Xbox has its first drink of water after being in the desert. It's like, oh, thank God. Oh, there's free space. All right, 10 of you guys, come on in.
Yeah.
Literally, I had
Forza Horizon 5 is like,
waiting to go.
Finally, it's my time.
I pushed it to the limit so much that my external storage card, because I have one of the fast flash cards that just plug directly in.
Oh, yeah.
That had 370 meg left on it.
You're nothing if not efficient.
I am white knuckling storage at all times is apparently what I've learned about myself here.
Oh my God.
But I did immediately fill her up with the future roguelike game, and then the future Game Club game, and then it's like, come on, why? In 2 games, I will mention my storage woes again.
Oh, okay.
Because I just want to, I want to end with that one because it's, oh boy. I played some more Saints Row. I only played a little bit of it this week, to be honest, because now I'm feeling the end of year crush is approaching, and it's just like, okay, I need to start and finish this, and this, and I've got 2 months to do what most people have done all year.
Yep.
Also, why the 2-week break is helpful for the record, folks, is because I'm just like, no, I need to beat these, because I think I've got 10 games, but I don't know if I have 10 games. And if I don't have 10 games, I don't want Gotham Knights to make it if it doesn't deserve to make it.
We have a top 9 list this year.
I do not want a pity 10. That is not what I want.
That's right.
Like, well, I guess I only played 10, so technically it makes it.
You know,
kind of thing.
Every year I worry that I do not have enough games, and then as I keep track of all of them, yeah, exactly, and then I keep track of them throughout the year, and I just pulled mine up yesterday because we were talking about stuff on Discord. I'm at 16 games right now.
Yeah.
And it does not feel like I've played 16 games.
I think I might be at like 8 because I also haven't played a lot of the other platform exclusives. Like I haven't touched Stray, I haven't played Vampire Survivor yet. There's a lot that I haven't.
Well,
touched.
guess what? Vampire Survivor, you can wait till next year because that's when it comes to console.
No, it comes to console this week.
Like in 2 weeks.
No,
I thought it was in 2023.
No, it's on the 10th.
It's this week.
Good luck. We'll talk about it in releases. It's coming to Game Pass.
Is he loading up his Game Pass queue for pre-loading?
That's right.
By any chance?
Xbox.com. Here we go.
But you know, it's Saints Row. I feel bad because there are moments in this game when I genuinely do love it. There's genuinely some great moments, and then there's everything else which is just middle to average, and it's like,
yeah.
Is it I have changed? Is it the game has changed? Or is it times have changed? Everything is changing, and I need to know what to blame.
No, it's the children who are wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. They are not the future, apparently.
That's right.
But, you know, it's fine. They made a bunch of references that I liked. And what I've played through this week, which was hilarious, terrible, and amazing all at the same time. I'm not going to spoil them because I do feel like sometimes those references hit better, like when you, because I did a mission and it was very obvious what they were going for.
Mm.
And then I was like, okay, when is the reference for this going to show up? And then it showed up, and it was delivered really well, but really subtly. Like, you wouldn't know the reference unless you were expecting the reference, and then when they make the reference, it's for someone who's expecting the reference.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was a really solid little moment where it's like, okay, that's like a 3-level deep cut reference, and I kind of respect you for not just stating the obvious, but still making the reference.
Right.
So I'm going to be working through Saints Row. I'm going to be working through Gotham Knights, which I didn't touch this week because, as mentioned in pre-show, 70-hour work week.
Right.
However, my final game this week is Dying Light, which for some reason I wrote Dying Lights, plural, here. Okay. I didn't play the both of them. I only played the first one because I had one base game achievement to get, which was to rescue 15 people from Rasia's men. I could never get them to spawn, and someone on TA was like, well, just play the following DLC. That happens all the time there. So I started the following DLC.
Okay.
And I finished the following DLC.
Mm-hmm.
In Dying Light, the following is when you get a little buggy, and it's a big open area, and you do a lot of driving around in this car, which is ironic because noise attracts zombies. It took me until the end of the following DLC to get those last 2 rescues, and it was probably about 13 hours worth of gameplay that DLC went on for. But it's basically a story that takes place after the end of the first game. Ironically enough, it is literally the following DLC.
Got it.
And it's also about a cult. It's like a triple meaning DLC.
Oh, okay. Does it lead into the events of the second one, or is it just kind of a post? Okay.
It's
weird.
The first one barely leads into the events of the second game.
It's true.
I'm pretty sure that isn't the excuse for the second one is, a zombie got out of Haran.
I don't even think that's part of it. I think they just kind of bringing it up as it started here,
right?
And then it was contained.
Yeah, we got them zombies
and then
too.
It wasn't. Yeah,
right.
So I am going to spoil this because I need to spoil this, mostly so Nimp doesn't re-download the entire game just to play the DLC. Because
it's never left the hard drive.
I mentioned on Twitter, the game has atrocious endings plural. Because we discussed the ending of the main campaign. Yep. So this is where I am going to spoil the following's DLC. If you play this game though, like us, you're probably not there for the story because it doesn't matter. These are all just a bunch of meatbags who you do quests for to get weapons. That's it. Like, that's literally all these people are to me.
Spicy meatballs of experience points.
Right.
Yes. So in the following DLC, you basically rescue a runner who's come into Haran, who says that there's this area where nobody who gets bitten turns into a zombie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, really? Are you sure about that?
Seems fishy.
So Kyle Crane in all his glory, because everyone's running out of antizin, is sent there to see if there's a cure, basically. It does the Mirror's Edge thing in the intro, credit where it's due. You're running across a cliff top, and it's nausea and vertigo-inducing as you're doing it. And then you get into the main story, you rescue someone, they give you a car, you get given the car, you go around. And basically the way it talks about it is like, look, these are the children of light. You will not be allowed to talk to the children of light unless we know that you are trustworthy. So you have to...
I want the knife.
Yeah.
I don't get that reference, which is great. Don't add it to the critical misses.
We are not watching that for critical misses.
No.
Do not worry. We could watch the Eddie Murphy movie. We will not be watching Deliverance. Don't worry.
Okay. But yeah, so you end up doing a whole bunch of like missions for these people, like help this people, help that person. Oh, bolters feel much more at home in the countryside, so bolters don't come out at night anymore. Bolters come out during the day. Except they're faster, so you have to run them over with your car in order to actually kill the bolters.
God. Okay.
and the whole area is infected with it begins with a V. What's the word? Volatile.
Venture capital funds.
Yes. Yes, it is, to be honest.
I keep wanting our platform to grow. We can't do it.
They did it by making a game and not really charging anything for the DLC and just updating it constantly for 7 years. So you have to go into these volatile nests and clear them out. But if you do it during the day, the volatiles are inside. If you do it during the night, the volatiles are outside.
Oh, gotcha. That's running direct with the second game.
This is the sequel to Troll Hunter, right?
So that's what you have to do. Yeah, you do all this stuff and so on and so forth, and you're trying to get in with this cult because they have this green mist that calms zombies down for whatever reason.
Let's just call it Soylent Green. Why not?
That's right.
Wait. Just wait.
Just the look on his face was just like, I swear to God, it's so much worse.
It is. It is so much worse. So this green mist calms zombies, and the Children of Light are the people who control this, whatever it is. It's walk very around subtle. They walk around with the priestly candle incense burners.
Yeah. Yep.
That just spew out green mist that calms the zombies down.
Boy, they're just it's the most subtle DLC. Goodness.
So then you get in good with the cult. You witness the mother, who is the leader of the cult. Long story short, you get to the end of the story. Now this is where the real spoilers happen. You, through process of learning and things like that, you are taken to the mother, and you are basically told, we need to end this one way or the other. Do you want to become the god of the sun or reject our ways?
Okay.
And at that point, the mother takes off their mask because, of course, they're wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And it turns out the mother is an intelligent volatile.
Wow. Okay.
So if all the lights are out, they turn into a beast. They literally killed their entire family because the lights went out. But as soon as lights get turned on, they turn into their human brain takes over, and they are intelligent and reasoning and thinking.
Okay.
Doesn't have a bottom jaw, just doing the little wiggly tongue out the hole in the mouth kind of routine.
Great. Love that. Always good.
Yeah. Wasn't that in Blade that they did that to vampires?
Yes. If you're talking about removing the lower jaw, that's Zombies Michonne. If you're talking about the split gap jaw, that's Blade 2.
No, split gap. Yeah, that's what I was...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Blade 2. And then in Blade Trinity, they do it to the Pomeranian.
Yep.
Anyway, I know too much about the Blade movies, apparently.
Way more than me, so...
So you have this conversation with the mother, who is speaking to you in her head. Telepathically speaking to you.
Sure.
Like the Cranberry song?
Right.
Sorry, we are not going to get anywhere.
No, we're not. If you choose to become the god of the sun, you blow up a nuke.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that was not where I thought this was going to go.
Next to your face.
Okay.
Because by breathing in the green mist, changes have already started happening to you, and if you don't become God of the Sun, and you pick the other options, which is screw your cult and everything else, I'll take this liquid and take it back to Haran, you go back to Haran, and then you become a volatile.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. Interesting.
Both endings are neither satisfying or good in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Which is fun because the main ending of the game itself was neither satisfying or fun.
It's consistent, though.
I literally put my controller down. I was like, how many achievements do I have left in this game? Because I don't know if I want to continue anymore.
It sucked the life out of you.
Right.
It literally did. I loaded it up again, though, and I got the Kill a Berserker with a Vehicle achievement, which was fine. Knock 50 Scarecrows over, which is fine. And then it was like, the only stuff you've got now is the Bozak Horde, which is a wave-based challenge DLC. So I gave it a go with Rob like last week or sometime, and we got to like because you get 3 lives and then you're out. We got to like challenge 5, and then it was like, oh, you failed. Go back to the beginning, start the whole thing again. Yay! At which point we were both done.
I already played Borderlands 2. Thank you very much.
It's that exact same thing.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll do it solo. I have the brainworm in this case. You don't. That's fine.
Right.
So I went and I did the whole thing. It took me like an hour and change to get good enough at the early wave to make it to the end waves. I beat the DLC. It gives me the Bozak bow, which is a really powerful bow, apparently.
Okay.
And then, like, I've got 5 more achievements left, or 3 more achievements left, and it's like, learn how to craft electric arrows, which is fine. Learn how to craft explosive arrows, which is fine, because you need the bow to be able to do these things.
Okay.
Like, cool, whatever. What is this last man standing achievement that I see?
Oh, no, I don't like the sound of that.
So they think they're being clever, but Splinter Cell did this years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the achievement is to beat the Bozak Horde mode with somebody else, and at the end, it turns everyone against each other.
Okay.
So that achievement is to do it in co-op and be the one left alive.
Gotcha. Great.
Which means in order to do it efficiently and fairly, I would need to do the Bozak Horde 2 more times.
Right.
No, I'm good. And by the way, in order to make the Bozak Horde easier, because it was so difficult, I turned the game onto Nightmare mode in regular story mode, then went into the DLC, which made the DLC easier.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Yikes.
I don't know what happened, but you go from, like...
That's weird.
Killing virals, which is the fast zombies, takes like 4 or 5 hits. If you put the regular game on Nightmare and then jump into the DLC, it takes 1 hit. Every time.
That's weird.
And there is challenges in that, which is kill 2 goons in 45 seconds. This is, I might have mentioned this last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now that's easy. You just do power shots to them like 3 times and it works. It's just like, okay, fine, I guess. This is easy enough. I did like Boston's face at whoever was playing the video version.
It's like stomping this zombie 17 times. I'm like, it's dead, man. Just you're dead.
It's not though. It's the problem.
Let it go for a second, man.
So I did it. I beat the Bozak Horde. I'm not even going to bother with the rest of the DLC. I got my baseline 1000. That's fine. I done the 315 extra gamer score. Whatever. That's just a bonus. So I quit the game. I hit the menu button almost immediately because I want this thing off my hard drive as fast as I can get it, so I don't have to think about it again. Because the great thing about the Xbox is when you uninstall it, it removes it from that last access list immediately.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
It doesn't stay there. It just goes.
Yep.
So I hit the menu button. I hit Manage Game, and it's just like, oh, uninstall all. That's what I'm going to hit. And then I look to the right, and it's like, Dying Light game installed on 2 hard drives. It's like, what?
Pardon? The what now?
Apparently, I had this installed on my internal and my storage drive.
So what was that? Like 110?
Something like that, basically.
I was like, I think the base without the DLC was like 60, 55, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh boy.
So storage woes begun, apparently, because I just got myself a whole bunch more space.
Oh man.
And now I have to fill it all up again.
That's right.
Because that's what I do.
With updates.
That's right.
I'm not kidding. Like, it was updating all yesterday. Like, I got home and I was doing other things and I just left it running and updating everything because I was just like, just stop giving me this.
Hear it in the other room. It sounds like it's running a marathon.
That's right.
My phone was going slow on the internet because my Xbox was sucking up that bandwidth.
Right.
It was just like, okay. Because I had everything closed, and when you have everything closed, it unleashes the Xbox on your internet, and it's just like, enjoy it. This is going at 400 megs a second, I guess. It's a 17 gig update.
So you're the reason why your neighborhood just all of a sudden couldn't watch videos for a little bit.
I'm the reason why in my neighborhood there is 5 houses that don't have access to fiber right now, and I'm the reason. It's me in that little zone that they just won't move into yet.
Oh man.
Wish I was kidding. Every time I move, it's the same thing. Oh, you're just outside the area.
Just one street over. Sorry, buddy. Thanks, man.
Listen, literally, in all 3 cases of my previous locations,
me too.
1 street away from the fiber area.
Yeah.
See, when we voted for fiber here, I verified on the map where my house was, and I am well within. So
nice.
Next year, look forward to it.
That's all I've been playing.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's keep the Dying Light train rolling because I played Dying Light 2 this week.
Oh.
Angela and myself had gotten to the mission where we are supposed to be taking back a water tower, and this is going to be very short, so you don't even have to look up a video for it. We finally figured out how to get to the top of it. We get to the area where we go into the top portion where it seems like there's going to be a boss fight, and it kicks me out of the game. Okay.
All right.
Tell me this wasn't one of those like you can only do this in single player things.
No, it wasn't. It seemed like for some reason on his end it was just causing issues with the game. We were fine in party chat. Like we were both connected to the network. Like none of us dropped off. We both restarted our consoles, restarted our routers, and all that fun stuff just to make sure both of us were in the clear. We could not get back into the game together.
Jeez.
So we had to call it a night.
Oh man.
But so yeah, that was our experience with Dying Light 2.
Hooray!
It's still being
it's broken.
Fun. Yeah. Next big thing, because I had a week off due to other things that didn't go through, I got to spend a lot of time playing video games this week. Nice. And to knock off this year's bucket list, I beat Star Ocean: The Divine Force this week.
Wow.
At 32 hours and 25 minutes.
Well, that's not too bad.
I'm terrified of looking at my time count for both Star Wars and
oh yeah, don't even like.
Well, yeah, because you're doing all of that. I'm just like, hey, I beat the game. This is how long it took, kind of thing. All right, first off, I have to correct myself from last week because apparently my tablet kept auto-correcting something and it did not stick in my mind until I turned the game back on after the podcast. The system that I kept calling Derma last week is Duma.
Oh,
without the R.
All right,
and so not skin.
No,
right.
And I think that's why it kept auto-correcting it, because even when I made a note to remember to bring up to correct myself from last week, it kept auto-correcting it to Derma. Stupid. And I realized that as soon as I turned the game back on, and I'm looking at the systems, and I'm like, Duma, I don't think I said that.
You're right.
So, you do eventually get a second midair jump using Duma.
Okay.
So this allows you, after the first launch is done, hold down the button again. You just float in that space that you're at. You don't fall down or anything. You just dead stopped wherever you're at.
Interesting.
Select where you want it to launch you again, and you just go in that direction. So you are throwing yourself across the maps on this thing. It is fantastic. I honestly really loved this game. The story is okay. There is a portion of it where you're chasing after somebody, a group of somebodies, and they keep getting away because, transporters are a thing in this game.
Sure.
And every time you corner them, your group is always shocked and surprised that they got away after yelling, "You're not getting away!" And I'm like,
"We finally got you now."
Yeah, exactly. And then sure enough, they teleport out, and they're all like, "Oh, how did they get away?" And I'm like, "Your incompetence.
This is the
how
fifth
they got
time.
Away." Yeah, it's like transporters exist. Jam it or something.
Right,
I don't
they
know,
did this
stop
2
talking
hours
and shoot
ago,
them.
guys.
Yeah.
So your crew of the Daleks is what I'm hearing.
Right.
Yes, it is horrific. But anyway, I got to a point where I was hitting a boss and I wasn't doing damage, and that's part of the story, but the issue became that, because it's basically you fight one boss and then you fight another boss, and no, this isn't final boss talk stuff, this is like halfway through.
Right.
The second boss that you fight has a shield on it, so you're trying to knock down its shield strength so that way you can actually do damage to its health.
Oh, okay.
Not a big deal, except for the fact that my characters were constantly dying. And they're just like, the first boss fight leading into this one, completely fine. Nothing was weird. Nothing was different. As soon as I got into this second phase with the other boss, couldn't do anything about it.
Oh, weird.
So I spent a very long time grinding. I over-grinded because I was so unhappy. And
right.
So I found with Leticia, she has an ability called the Do-It-Yourself Princess.
Okay, that's a great name.
Where when you equip it, it knocks down her defense by 30% and her guts by 30%, but it increases the amount of XP that the entire party gets.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to start using that. So I maxed out that stat or that ability and equipped it on her. And when you max that out, it makes it so that she has negative 100% defense and negative 100% guts.
Oh boy.
But in return, you're getting plus 200 experience percentage.
Wow. Okay.
So all of a sudden I go from fighting these things and I'm doing, I'm getting like 2,000, 20,000, whatever experience, to I'm getting like 40,000, 80,000 experience points. So it's like I found this one route that I was running for about a good hour and a half, and I went from level 60 to level 120.
Oh, jeez.
No problem.
Nice.
And I walked back in that boss room and stomped all over that guy.
Yeah.
And that felt great.
That's always the best.
I also accidentally made the game a little easier towards the end, but that's perfectly fine.
That's all right.
Yeah, I also walked into the final boss without grinding and managed to walk all over that as well.
Nice.
So whatever, it was probably a decent boss fight if I did it normally. But,
yeah.
Outside of that though, like I said, I really enjoyed how it played.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, like I said, the story's just okay. It's not getting high marks on story. In fact, if you want to dig into it, this story's been told throughout a lot of the Star Ocean games. It's like, oh, you're on this medieval, unindustrialized planet, and oh, there's a sickness, and oh, one of our starships can cure this. It's been wrote. But I think the characters in this one, surprisingly, are really good. It feels a little weird towards the end because of how, quote unquote, short the game is. I beat it in 32 hours. So, I mean, for a JRPG, that's short. For a normal game, that's like 3 games right there.
Right.
But it felt like that they were a lot closer than what they earned at this point, kind of.
Oh, sure.
And it's kind of hard to explain, but I wouldn't knock it for that. Like they have technically been together lore wise. It's just gameplay wise for us playing it. It's like, you shouldn't be that close. I've only had you in my party for like 5 hours now, and
right.
Yeah, you were kind of a late addition, but you're really cool. So
right.
But yeah, I absolutely love this game, and
nice.
I'm hoping it does well enough because I know Tri-Ace was talking about that they were having financial issues, which was kind of the reason why this one got pushed back a couple of times. So I'm kind of hoping this does well enough for them to be able to, I don't know, release something to eventually come back to Star Ocean. But I hope that they continue down the path they're going, because this was a good template to start with, but I would like to see the series actually evolve out past what it has been. Which, the first 2 games are arguably the best games out of the series. And it kind of feels like they're just repeating those 2 stories because they don't really know where to go with it.
Right.
So the concept's there and everything. They just need to build up from it. But yes, Star Ocean Divine Force. Black Friday's coming up. You see it on sale, pick it up, man. It's really fun.
Right.
Real great time. My next game is Legend of Heroes: Trials from Zero. I also beat this game.
Oh, wow.
At 40 hours.
Oh, okay.
Because I already had like 20 hours into it before my vacation. So I had the opposite issue with leveling in this game, because there was a trophy that if you can beat the game with your party members being at level 40 or below, you get the trophy. I was like, all right, cool.
Okay.
When I discovered this, I was already level 30 something, like 31, 32 maybe. And I was towards the end of the game. So I was like, all right, cool. So from this point on, I just need to start skipping fights.
And just like motor right to the end.
Yep. They have it set up where the enemies are on the field. So if you run into them, all you have to do is run away. You know, they blink so you can run through them, which was actually very helpful because there is a particular dungeon where there are enemies that are planted in front of a door.
Oh, sure.
And so you're normally supposed to fight them and defeat them so you can get through the door. Not this guy. This guy runs into them, runs away, and while they're blinking away for 3 seconds, I can run through them and get through the door.
Right.
So it was kind of fun because I got to play the game differently. Because normally I would just level through and be like, oh, hey, look at all this cool stuff that I got. But no, not this time. I had to be very, very cautious on what I was doing. So I get to the final area, and I'm like level, I think before I did the final boss, I was level 36, which a couple of the guides that I was looking at, everyone was like, hey, the area before the final dungeon, they're like, you should be at 37, no higher, or else this will knock you out of contention for that trophy.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm getting ready to do the final boss at like 36, so
should
I'm
be
golden.
Good.
Yeah. No. There are a couple of bosses that you have to fight, and somebody in the RPG community can't do math.
And is this a game where bosses give XP?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right.
Which isn't an issue, but this one for some reason gave me a ton of XP. Like I'm talking like 6,000 XP for each character, and that is unheard of for any fight that I've done.
You gained
this game
5
so
levels.
Far.
No.
Yeah, I went from level 36 to level 42.
Jeez.
And I still had 2 more boss fights after that.
Oh,
I was
boy.
not happy. Because not only was I underleveled for this fight for that trophy, there are a lot of like armor and weapons and accessories that you can only get by fighting certain monster chests. And I skipped those because you defeat those monsters to get that items, you get experience.
Oh, okay.
So not only was I underleveled for all of these boss fights, I was wholly unequipped for all of these boss fights. Like I severely handicapped myself, and I've already been past like 3 different no points of return. So I can't go back to get better equipment.
Right.
I'm like, all right, so I had to do the tried and true. All right, let's push this boss. Nope, everything's going sideways. Restart the game. Go back in, restart the boss. Okay, this is going well. Nope, boss just screwed me. Let's restart the game.
Ultimate power. It's like, nope, reset.
Yep. I had to redo the final boss fight about 6 times before I could finally get it so that it wasn't doing anything. And the biggest issue was, and this is going to be some spoilery stuff for the boss fight mechanic, parts of the level that you are fighting him on disappear throughout the fight.
Oh, okay.
And if you have a character on that area when it disappears, they're dead.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't even know if you can revive them back dead.
Goodness.
So
the final level of every Halo game ever.
Yeah. Right.
But luckily there's enough of a tell where it's like you can see where the ground that you are on, where it's segmented, and how they are tied to is that when you defeat certain, I guess, like targets, those areas will start to glow. So that way, you know, okay, once I killed this target, this glowing area is going to disappear. So I need to move my characters away from that before I kill this thing. So it's not like randomly or, you know, whatever. It's you have control on when they disappear. Eventually, you'll get it to the point where you are just on this square that is not very big, with all of your 4 characters fighting against this boss, and this boss will change forms midway through the battle once you hit a certain HP cap. It becomes... it starts healing itself.
Of course.
It auto-counters any physical attacks. And like every other turn, it starts doing its ultimate, which since you're on this tiny square, it hits all of your characters, and it does 3,000 points of damage to every character, and causes faint. The highest HP count I had on my tankiest character was 3,200 HP.
Oh boy.
So it was pretty much a one-hit kill for everyone but one character, and that character that lives is fainted, which means it can't do anything for a couple of turns, which means the boss is just beating on it with its 200 HP that he has left, and it's gone.
Oh, man.
So I found out that through a lot of trial and error, there are these 2 pieces, like there's 2 plots on the left and right side of the boss, and they're separated enough that it doesn't look like your characters would be able to move to them. But if you get them close enough, they can jump to them.
Oh, okay.
So what this did for me was I had one character to the left of the boss, one character to the right of the boss off of that square arena thing that we were all on. And then the 2 characters I left on that square one, but then had them as far away from each other as I could get them. This made it so that when the boss did its ultimate attack, it could only hit one character instead of all 4.
Okay.
So if it killed one character, no big deal. I've got so many revive items on me right now for just this type of screw job. And let me tell you, this is the one time saving all of my items to max cap has saved my body.
Right.
Because, man, I was burning through items so hard.
Man.
But yeah, I was finally able to take out that boss, and I was so mad at that stupid trophy. But yeah, that's... but I'm glad. It's a good story.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's going to be real boring, because it is... You're basically playing as a detective, so everything is normal. It's just a normal day in the life of a detective until you get 30 hours in, and all of a sudden there's like weird stuff that's starting to happen.
The trail stuff happens.
Yeah. So I really liked it. I really liked it where it was filling in at. And yeah, just finally being able to... I got a sense of accomplishment beating that boss, but I was still so angry about being so handicapped and not getting that stupid trophy.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
But now
that's the thing that terrifies me about JRPG achievements, because I'm not the biggest fan of them anyway, of JRPGs in general, or SRPGs. I enjoy them within limits. But then whenever I play any on the Xbox and I look at the achievement list, like Eternal Sonata.
Yeah, don't even look at them.
That's the worst one, man.
It's just like, why did I have to play that game 3 times again?
I feel like after Eternal Sonata, that like broke something for JRPG achievement people, and like most of the... I'd say like 90% of RPGs now are like, look, you need to play it once and you're good. Like, you don't have to play it through on the highest difficulty. You don't have to beat it in under whatever, unless it's like a 10-hour game. And then a lot of times those will be like, oh, finish it in under 5 hours, finish it under level 20, something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, like mine was the 360 Star Ocean game, because you get to a point where it's all just RNG based for the battle trophies. And there's nothing that you can do about it to change the outcome.
Man,
I know one person who has all of those achievements, and that is a crazy person.
Yep.
Honestly, I think it's less JRPGs or achievement hunters have changed. I think it's games have changed.
That too, yeah.
Accessibility and things like that become more into the limelight. We have seen a positive change across the board, I would say, for... Yeah, if I want to turn on God mode and beat the game, I still get the achievements. Who cares?
Yep. I appreciate that a lot.
Well, and a lot of it too, mostly with JRPGs, it's a lot of just time sink crap where it's like collect all these items,
upgrade the
all the
entire
quests.
town. It's like, oh
Yeah,
gosh, okay.
find all 6,000 chests in the game.
Right.
And I usually don't do them. It was just the fact that I had happened to see it, and I was like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah,
and
I can probably do that. Sure.
Stupid boss didn't drop an ungodly amount of experience on me for the first time ever.
Right.
But now that I've beaten the game, they have the system in place where it's like, oh, you earn points for New Game Plus, so that way you can bring stuff over with you.
Oh, right.
The point system is based on what trophies you have unlocked, up until that run.
Oh, okay.
And so because they're linked to the trophies, they have a in-game trophy system also, which is tied to this point system. So
it's a lot like the Tales games, where you're like, here's the things you did during the game, so now you have more resources to pick, more things to bring into New Game Plus, whether that's like boons or kind of negatives.
Well, and that's what a lot of it is I have the option where I can bring my character levels over into New Game Plus. If I play New Game Plus on this game, which I kind of want to, I would not do that, because then I would try for that.
Right.
For now that I know that I probably need to be level 30 going into this stupid final dungeon.
Right.
But then there's other things that's like, oh, bring over all your money, bring over all of your quartz, which is basically your materia, bring over all of your, weapons, armor, all that stuff. I can pick and choose what I want to do and what I want to bring with me to make it easier. But yeah, I thought about restarting it because I had beaten it, and then I was like, oh, but then I could just restart the other Legends of Hero games, because I have New Game Plus, clear saves for those. I'm like, man, that is like, that's 600 hours I do not have right now. When we are so moving on from that, I very, very lightly touched Horizon Forbidden West.
Okay.
I've gotten through the tutorial.
Okay.
And talking with Varl, which I really enjoy him being there, because I actually really like how they did the the catch up of, hey, this is what's happened up to this point.
I really liked that too.
Yeah, because at first they don't really get into it a whole lot. They're they're walking you through, hey, this is a focus, and she's explaining it to Varl because she's giving him a focus. So while she's kind of lightly explaining it to him, it's kind of re-catching you up on, oh, okay, yep, this is the thing.
The Bluetooth headpiece. Yeah, right.
And then it's funny seeing his reaction of, oh, you always see this way? And she's like, yeah, since I've been a child. And,
she's like, yeah, you'll get used to it, whatever.
Yeah. So then you continue on. And then it brings you back to where you fought the final boss in the first game. And that's where it sets off for this game. And it was kind of cool being brought back there, and you can walk around and you can check things out. Like, hey, this is that big giant Metal Gear thing that Hades summoned to, kill me, and now it's just scrap. And, oh, we have to go back up this tower and check out things. And it's like, oh, now we have to go out west and all this fun crap. And it's really cool. The game looks gorgeous, of course.
Yep.
I couldn't see how it wouldn't, considering how great the first one looked. Even if they just kept it at that level, it would have looked fine for today.
Are you playing this on PS5?
Yep.
Okay. Which
PS5 version? So
okay. Which graphics mode are you using? Because I know they put in a couple extra ones recently.
I haven't messed with it, so whatever the default is. Okay. Usually, I always stick with FPS.
Yeah, I played it on performance when it came out, and it had some like real minor graphical issues that I know they've fixed recently, but they also just put in, and I'm really interested in this in God of War Ragnarok. They put in a 40 FPS mode, which for people like me that have a TV that can do 120 with VRR, apparently that works really well to like kind of split the difference and make it look really good, but have a really solid frame rate. And they put that in this, and they put that in Ratchet and Clank, and I haven't. They put it in like 6 months after each one of them came out, and I'm like, well, I'm already done with the game. Like, I'm not gonna know the difference.
Yeah, I'll check that out after this then, because usually, which is weird too. Usually with a lot of these games, they'll tell you up front, hey, what one do you want? And I don't think they did for this one, because I don't remember picking an option for it.
Yeah, I think when it came out, it defaulted to graphics quality, but I wonder if they changed that.
Okay, I'll double check and make a note of it. But
Yeah.
so you get through the first area, and then you're fighting these. I think they call them slither fangs. They're basically these giant cobra mechs.
Yeah. Yep.
And because I'm old and the cutscene starts, and you've already been fighting the slither neck thing for a little bit, and then there's like a mid-battle cutscene that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh man, they actually kept up with like the things that I knocked off with, because it's missing one of its antennas on top. Yep. Its bottom section is missing that I just blew up from the cutscene. I'm like, oh man, that's really cool. And then it gets to a point where you have to take one of its weapons and shoot back at it to destroy it.
Oh, right.
And once you get it to a certain point, another cutscene starts. And again, it's just as heavily damaged as I just did all this damage to it, and it's showing up in the cutscene. I'm just like, man, that is looking really good. Until the last shot that I shot streaks across the screen and hits the thing in the face. And I'm like, oh, this isn't even a movie. This is it. This is the game. I'm like, oh, okay, that's really cool still. So I thought that was just really impressive. For that was my first PS5 moment of, man, this is really good. They really kept up on this.
Yeah, like you guys did something cool here. All right.
Hey, you guys know what you're doing. But yeah, I also really like the fact that everything automatically goes into a storage once you've reached your cap.
Thank God.
I have so many sticks now that like I can't stop picking up things. It's one of those games.
Yeah,
I don't even know why it's an option that I have to click. Just make it so it automatically happens.
Go through the accessibility menu. They have those now, where like you're just running through and she's just scooping up, like she's hoovering up all this stuff as you go through. Also, for anybody that's playing this on a PS5, go through and change. There's an options menu for, it's like quick hide tooltips or something like that. You don't have to push the button when there's a loading screen, like when you fast travel. It just automatically does it. So it changes the loading times from like 3 seconds to 0.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, hey, you want no loading screens?
Yeah, it's very much the same thing where it's like, it changes it from like 3 seconds to like 0.5 seconds. It's wild.
All right. But now I'm at the point where I've watched the whole movie of her going out to the west and crossing, the mountain range and the Colorado.
That was a cool cutscene. Well, I mean,
we haven't gotten to that point yet.
That's right. She's not even there.
Colorado's and past the gate. Yeah, because the whole point is you're supposed to be going for this embassy day, where they are talking with the people that basically, I not really control, but it's like a group or a clan or whatever that roams that whole.
Yeah, it's like the group that's like has taken control of the West.
Yeah.
It's a post-apocalyptic model UN, is what you're saying.
100%. Yep.
100%.
Yep.
Because you get to this guy who it's basically a lift, and he will bring you down the rest of the range.
One of my favorite characters in this game.
Dude, I love all these characters so far. And he's sitting there telling you, it's like, well, I can't bring you down there because there's like a work order restriction.
Yeah, he's like, hey, buddy, I'd really love to. I know you're the hero, big fan. I'm a little guy. Don't worry, I can't take you down there. Sorry.
But she does eventually talk him in to having him take her down there.
Mm-hmm.
And as he starts this contraption, he's like, hey, by the way, it would really help me out if you told them that you forced me to bring you down here.
It's very much one of those, like, look, you can take what's in the register, just punch me a little bit, like, that way you can kind of sell it.
So then you get down to the end of this line, and there is the ambassador for the Sun City in the first game that's there. The guy who's supposed to be running this whole embassy peace treaty thing with this other group.
Yeah.
And he's all angry because there's robots and machines everywhere, and they can't make it to where they're going, and he wants to go back up. And the guy's like, I can't do it. And Aloy, as the scholar dude tries to rush onto the platform, Aloy walks in front of him and closes the ramp and says he can't bring anybody up there. Work order restrictions.
That's right. He
and the
asked
guy's like,
for no pickles.
Yep, and he starts going back up the ride.
One of my favorite things about the intro of this game is I like that Aloy is like, I need to go out west to do spoiler things from the first game. So, like, I just need to get there. I'm running, and now Chain Scrape is in the way, and you're telling me I have to, like, do politics, and she's so grumpy about it, and it's just like manhandling everybody she can to just get past this checkpoint. And I really love, because in the first game she was pretty headstrong, but I just love her, like, her lack of patience with politics here. It's like,
she is so sick of everybody. It's fantastic. So the next line is too, it's like with this scribe scholar dude, there is a military person who's
like
with
his
the captain
bodyguard
that you know from
almost.
the first game. Yeah. The scholar dude doesn't know who you are. The military dude does, and the scholar dude is like talking down to Aloy this entire time.
And he's
the
like,
military guy's like, "Hey man, this is Aloy, like the savior, you know,
don't
of
even.
such and such."
That's right. She's wearing robot parts. Just be quiet.
So Aloy stops talking to the scholar and starts talking to the military guy. It's like, okay, hey, where's your captain at? What's going on? So this dude's filling Aloy in on what's happening, and this guy starts reading scripture from the scroll. And at first, she lets him do it. She's like, all right, that's nice. And she goes back talking to the military guy, and they're talking about something. I don't remember what. And the scholar starts reading something else again, and Aloy just looks over and says, hey, shh. And then goes right back to talking to the military guy.
Yep.
Like, yes, you are.
She's
2
great.
seconds away from punching a guy.
Oh, it's so good.
I really like so far this attitude of hers of, hey, I got stuff to do and you're in my way.
Yeah, you and your town are in the way. Come on.
Yeah. But that's as far as I got. At that point, I saved and quit. I will say too, because I haven't messed with anything, if I swing the camera around really fast, that does fun things to my eyes. So I had planned on playing with the settings to check out what's going on. It's probably motion blur or something, because that's always fun. But
yeah, and they've added a ton of stuff and like graphical settings and improvements and stuff since it launched. It's really nice.
Yeah, but outside of that though, it feels like jumping right back into the first game again.
Yep.
Controls are exactly the same. Except for the pull hook, I think is what they're calling it.
Yeah. That's a little weird.
It's basically the grapple hook, but when you go to jump at a grapple point, you can hit circle and she will jump up to the next point instead of having you actually climb and do all this other fun crap. So they've added some fun stuff.
And with that, you can also, it's hold square, I think, to like rocket yourself off of the top of the thing you grapple to. So once you get the hang glider, you can just rocket up and then kind of glide your way down.
That was the issue I was having at first with the pull hook thing. Was I didn't know you're supposed to, hold down L1 or I'm sorry, L2, hit triangle to cycle from the bow to this thing, and then hit R1 or R2 to actually throw it and start pulling. I didn't know you had to hang on to both L2 and R2.
Yes.
So I kept letting go of L2 and she would just stop doing stuff. I'm like, what is going on?
That tripped me up the entire game. It's one of those ways where it's like, there could have been a better way for you to do this, probably, because it doesn't feel natural.
Yeah, but whatever. But yeah, really fun game. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. I just don't know I will be able to because stuff.
Yeah.
So the last game that I have, and this is going to be real short because I didn't play a whole lot of it yet. Signalis.
Yes.
This is on Game Pass.
Does the name ring a bell?
It is
talked about it last week.
Yeah, an indie pixel horror game.
Okay.
Made by 2 people, it sounds like.
Kind of like PS1 inspired, like pixel and like low poly kind of first and third person survival horror.
Yep. A lot of people I have seen comparing this to, watching a couple of reviews, everyone's been comparing it to like Resident Evil meets Silent Hill 2 kind of
like
thing.
Resident Evil 1 meets like Silent Hill 2. Like it's
When you start out, you have the option of controls, picking them. You can either do 3D like normal, or you can do tank controls if that's what you want.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Who's a sicko?
I stuck with 3D. So far from what I have figured out, I think I've played it for like 45 minutes or an hour, so I'm not very far into this. But so far, you are a replica / an Esther, I think is what Elster. It's basically an android of what they're calling it in this game. You wake up, and then that's it. You just start roaming around this area trying to figure things out, what's happening. When I woke up, everything is tied up. It's it's basically you walk into an area and you've got like this square that you're looking at, and you're moving your character along in the square. And you've got doors. You walk into a door, it opens up, and then you go into the next square. And that's how this all looks like on the map. It's kind of like an old Metroidvania game where it's like you've got your screen, and then as soon as you touch the edge of the screen, you move to the next screen kind of thing.
Oh, sure. So like very much PS1 style where it's like, here's your field of view, you move it in.
Yep.
Whoop, yeah.
This game is very dark and actually does really cool stuff with lighting.
I was going to say dark and lighting or tone or both.
Both.
Yeah.
But so far, dark and lighting. In the review videos that I was watching, like when you have a gun, when you eventually get a gun, when you shoot it, the blowback from that, the fireball that you get from shooting a weapon, that lights up like a dark area.
Oh, interesting.
And they do a lot of cool things with light reflecting, where it's like this one area that I was in, I walked by a mirror, and it scared me for a moment because all I saw was movement. I didn't register that, oh no, that's just a mirror. I thought it was a window.
Right.
So, much in the style of Resident Evil, you can only hold up to 6 items.
Okay.
That's your inventory. There are storage boxes that are all over the place, just like Resident Evil. It's the infinite storage chest, where it's like you drop it in this one, you find it in another one somewhere else. You have unlimited saves. You don't have to worry about, finding a floppy or something and trying, you've only got this much room for saves. But you're looking for, so far, like a red screen, which I didn't realize that's what it was, and that's how you save the game.
Oh, interesting.
I discovered it by accident because I was searching a room. There was a red screen next to like a radio thing, and I thought it was part of the radio. I went to investigate it, and it popped up a screen thing, or a save prompt. I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, let's do this. I saved it, and while searching again, I accidentally clicked on the save prompt again. Like, I don't need to save, I just did it. So I backed out of it. And when I did that, the screen turned entirely red and said, quote, let me see if I can find it, "You will regret this later."
Oh, no.
Great.
Okay.
Because this game does not have auto-saving, and it does not have checkpointing. When you die, you have your last save, and that's it.
Right.
So it's interesting. I haven't met anything yet. I've met one person who was injured that I was trying to help, but I haven't met any of what would be this game's monsters. It does wholly feel like Resident Evil with the puzzles, where it's like I randomly, and it also feels like an adventure game in a weird way, because like you had said, this is a 3D top bottom camera, but in certain rooms it goes to first person. Right. So you can investigate those rooms, and in one room that I was checking out, I looked at basically a console, and it had Scotch tape on there. And it let me pick it up, and it's like, do you want to take the Scotch tape? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm going to need this for something. Yeah. If I can look at it, I probably need it. A little bit later, I found in a cryo tube like this busted up key card that was snapped in half. And then later on, I found, okay, this is where that key card goes, but it doesn't work because it's broke. Guess what? I have Scotch tape.
Ta-da.
Taped it back together, and somehow that didn't interfere with the magnetic reader on the back because I slotted it in and it worked just fine.
Future's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it feels like Resident Evil in that way, where you're combining items. You can, move them around in your inventory in like a 3D space to look at them. There was a picture I found very early on of a person. And on the back of it, when I was looking at the picture, there was like these dots placed on the back of it. I'm like, all right, cool. This has got to be for something. Later on, I got to a control panel that has like these little dots that when you click on them, they light up. I'm like, bet you that's what this is for. So then I had to figure out, okay, I'm assuming black means off and red means on. So then all the red ones I turned on this thing, and hey, I opened up a thing. Cool.
Nice.
So that's about as far as I've gotten so far.
Nice.
There is in-game lore about the reason why you can only hold 6 items in your personal inventory is because you're an android, and it is a privilege to have private property, but no more than 6 pieces of private property.
Oh, that's
so
grim.
They give you gale pants.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're pretty much just programmed to only be allowed to hang on to 6 things.
Oh man.
I have seen in reviews the crap thing is even when you equip a firearm in this game, it still takes up an inventory slot, even though you're hanging on to it.
Oh, okay.
That is still my biggest issue with the Resident Evil games and this one, because you're holding it, it's not in your inventory.
Right.
But whatever. But yeah.
No. Leon has a briefcase.
That's right.
I don't know where he keeps the briefcase, but he has a briefcase.
His ever-expanding briefcase that has 2 sniper rifles and an RPG in it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's turning into like a Desperado thing.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And I look forward to playing more of it. But that's all I've been playing this week.
Since I was out of town, the only thing I have really played of note this week is Marvel Snap, of course.
Why didn't I talk about Marvel Snap? I played so much Marvel Snap.
Yeah, I played a lot. I finished all of the seasonal challenges, which is such a cool system, and it does the thing you would want, like a seasonal and weekly challenge sort of thing to do, which is encourages you to make and play with different decks, where it's like, this one's like, oh, this one moved 10 cards. It's like, well, cool. All right, let's make a move deck. Oh, that was cool. Destroy 10 cards. It's like, well, time for a destroy deck. All right, let's do this.
So I've been tweaking with my ongoing deck, which is obviously a deck designed to have all ongoing cards.
Yeah.
And for those of you who haven't noticed, when you actually go into your collection panel on the bottom right-hand corner, there is a filter for different abilities and stuff like that, which is super handy.
It's very nice.
Yeah, you guys have gotten my son into this game. He steals my wife's phone and plays it on there.
Oh, nice.
Because it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it is fun. It was just funny when he came to me with my wife's phone and he was showing me, like, you know, the cartoon Hawkeye and the cartoon Hulk card that he has. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's some pretty good variants in there. I have not been super impressed by a lot of the pixel variants, which is kind of a bummer.
The only one I've seen is the only one I've got that I liked, and that's Squirrel Girl.
Okay.
Her variant is pretty cute.
Oh, Moon's got it there
okay.
on screen.
Yeah.
All right, that's a pretty good pixel one. Yeah.
Like that's
most of the
pretty
ones,
solid, but, like, yeah, Odin's just like whatever.
Yeah. We're kind of finishing a season here, it seems. Now that the game is kind of out of beta. I had just it was really great after like a long day on vacation and just kind of, all right, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna lay here in this hotel room and I'm going to just play a bunch of matches and kind of wind down for the day.
My mind has just been blown. Sorry.
So
I finally got
in there?
Bucky Barnes. Yeah, I just found something else out. I finally got Bucky Barnes.
I just did too.
Which it's so powerful with a destruction deck because it's just like the cloning vats is a hot item right now, which whenever you play a card, you get a copy of it. So I've been loading them up with Buckies and then throwing a Carnage down. And then the Carnage is like 14 power is the copy you get back because it's the card you play. I've messed so many people up with that, but I only just noticed on cards like Bucky, and I just saw it with Squirrel Girl, there is a slight offset.
There's a card behind it.
Yeah.
And if you click it, it's actually what the card turns into.
Yeah, it shows you what the cards you get, because for Bucky, when you destroy that card, it spawns Winter Soldier. So the cool part is you don't have to wonder what it does. You just tap it in your inventory, and it shows you, here's the other one.
And with Squirrel Girl, it
your
puts
1/1
squirrels on
token.
every little tile.
Right.
So the squirrel card is there as well. I never noticed that before.
Yeah. God, what else did I do this week? A lot of it was just like, I think the thing that's surprising me the most at this point is I am finishing kind of the daily and the seasonal challenges, and I'm still playing because I'm just having fun. It's not like, I'm done with all the challenge stuff for today or this week, so I'm not going to worry about it anymore. But I'm continuing to play it, it sounds like a radical idea that I'm continuing to play a video game that I'm having fun with. But for a lot of mobile games, it's like, well, I'm not going to keep playing this. I'm already done with like the season pass or whatever.
Well, for me, it's one of those things as well where like I'm having so much fun that I was like, screw it, I'm gonna pay the $10 and get the season pass.
Yeah, me too.
Which give me like 800 gold or something in total additional on top of what I already had, and a whole bunch of credits and everything. I'm like 3 collection levels away from being in quote unquote pool 3.
Okay.
Like I'm at 485, so I think 498 is the last mystery card, and after that it's a bunch of collector's caches.
Oh, right.
And I also was like, screw it, it's $3 for the Captain America variant. I'm just going to throw that in there too. I'm probably not going to use it because Captain America is not a part of any of my decks. But I don't care. It's a $13 tip for a game that I've literally played several hours a day, every day, for like 2.5 weeks.
And I'm more likely to give the money to a developer that doesn't already have their hands on my pocket. Like whenever this season comes up, if the next season pass is another $10, we'll probably buy that too. Like I got no problem, tossing $10. And if anyone is thinking about playing this, you don't have to. Like it seems like the season pass is largely just some in-game currency that you're going to get by playing the game and doing the seasonal challenges anyway, and a bunch of variants. Yeah. So like you're not.
But the only thing you're really missing is gold and variants, and
right.
Oh, and like pictures for your profile and stuff and things like that.
Oh, the avatars, which like doesn't really matter.
I don't care about. I'm still using the random agent image that you start with.
Joe.
Yeah, random. The shadow one. That's the same one I'm using too.
Yeah, still the shadow guy. I don't care. Like it literally means nothing to me. But like, I didn't buy that until I was already at like rank 52. So I was already at I'm going to get something every single level at this point.
Yep.
And I was like, screw it. It's $10. I'm just going to throw it their way. And I will get the upside down Miles Morales. And a whole bunch of boosters for him. So he is like already, that variant is already way up there, which I'm happy with. Like, he looks cool.
Yeah,
He's on his phone.
I'm still having a blast with this game, and I still feel really positively about it. It's also really nice to see people on Twitter and people in our Discord just like posting their like mean decks they're coming up with, or the stuff, the like real dirtbag stuff they're doing like positively or accidentally.
The blue marvel on every slot of that. Get a copy of the card whenever on this this location, and I threw blue marvel on there. It's like, now all of my other cards have like +4 power. Screw you.
Right. It feels really great, and it continues to be super great. And it's just we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, but again, each match being like maybe 3 minutes. Like maybe a minute or two long if the other person you're playing against is also on the ball, but like just being able to get in and get out of matches super fast feels really great.
And so far I haven't seen much emote abuse. Everybody seems to be like pretty positive communication. Like I was a D-bag and I like carnaged my way into like I think it was a 24, 36, 22 power with my destruction deck, which is not an easy thing to do with that little cards. And this dude snapped on like turn 3, and then I snapped on turn 5, and then I walked away with all 8, and the dude did the Deadpool emote, which is like, and then the Ms. Marvel thumbs up, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to give you a little fist bump for that.
One of my I give a lot of fist bumps, but one of my favorite emotes this week is I threw down an Agent 13 on one of the areas that you play a card and it gives you that card back to your deck. So like I threw down an Agent 13 on there, it flips over my card. My opponent threw an Agent 13 down on there too, and it flipped over the card. And he did the pointy Spider-Man, so I did the pointy Spider-Man back at him, and I'm like, this game is great. I love
did
it.
that too
It's
because
so
I
good.
had the exact same thing where we threw down, both threw down a Nova, both threw down a Bucky Barnes, and then both threw down a Carnage.
Oh,
The
jeez.
exact same sequence,
Right.
and we literally did the exact same thing. Where it's like pointy Spider-Man, pointy Spider-Man.
That's really
like,
good.
Oh, chef's kiss to that moment.
Yeah, Marvel Snap is really great. I haven't run into anyone that's really mean. My objective this week has largely been try to retreat earlier. Like, let's not lose 2 or 4. Let's just lose 1. And there have been a lot of. There was one match this week where somebody was playing like a destroy cards and Apocalypse one, where they like threw down a card that destroyed Apocalypse, and then the next card they threw down destroyed him again. I was like, retreat, get out of there. You're not gonna win this one.
Probably.
Yeah, it was like Lady Sif and Blade Master back to back, and I was like, get out of there. It's not. No Devil Dinosaur is going to win this one for you. Just get right on out of there.
I'm in the same boat where I'm very much in this thing where it's like, yes, I'm trying to be more aggressive about snapping, and I'm trying to be more aggressive about retreating when I know I'm not going to win, especially even with a double snap. I want to be more conscious of that because I would probably be ranked 60 if I wasn't such an idiot for like 36 levels about just sticking it out no matter what. But as part of the game, I need to learn to retreat. The one downside about being super aggressive with snapping is my current challenge is cost 6 cards.
Mm-hmm.
The only cost 6 card I have in my destruction deck, which is my primary deck, is Apocalypse. So when I'm throwing down Lady Sif and Apocalypse is showing up with 12 power and I'm snapping on turn 3, everyone's just like, see ya, I'm out.
Opponent has retreated, and it's like, oh, come on, guys.
Come on, I need to get to turn 6 to play a turn 6 card.
Oh, man. That's great. Still highly recommend Marvel Snap. Nothing too crazy new to talk about this week. Kind of curious to see what the next season is going to be. Not expecting it to be anything groundbreaking, but hopefully it has kind of a cool card that'll have some variance in there.
I will say, the thing I have appreciated mostly about this game is it does have the daily missions and the weekly missions. There is more than enough daily missions to complete the weekly mission challenges.
Yes,
I like the speed which it meters out the different challenges. Like, it's not first thing in the morning you get 6 missions, so you have to play it to get rid of some, so you can get more in the afternoon. It's like, no, it's 2 at a time, every like 8 hours. Chill.
Yep.
And relax.
You'll get a couple more later.
I've like transitioned to those where like as soon as I get those new missions, I'll jump in, play them, do the missions, maybe play a couple of rounds, then back out and walk away for a while. Then maybe if I'm bored or whatever, or I'm in the bathroom, or I'm waiting for someone to call, I'll play a round or 2 and then wait for the next missions to show up. Like it's not play now to do this, to do this, to do this, to do this. It's like, no. You can still make progress the other way, which I figured out you make season pass progress, I think. If you don't have challenges for every game you play, I think the power that you throw on the deck, on the table, that transitions to season rank progress.
So we were talking about this in the Discord earlier today, and after we did some research, it's 1 season rank XP per turn completed, and then 10 XP per area 1. So you can potentially get up to like, 36 XP total. So you're still making progress even if you don't have, and the math might be wrong. I don't know if anyone knows for sure, but you are still making like season pass progress no matter what.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where like I'm perfectly fine jumping in, doing my dailies and jumping out. Like, cool. I'm fine with that.
It's great. But that's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yup.
I need to help my wife bring something into the house.
Okay.
So I'm going to mute my mic. So if you guys want to get started, I'll just jump back in and I'll pick up.
Yeah, we'll get started, sure.
Okay. Shouldn't take that long, but just in case.
Okay. Good luck. Okay. Are you ready for the next segment here?
Maybe.
Maybe yes. Maybe no.
Maybe yes.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of November 7th, 2022. A Little to the Left comes out on PC and OS X. This is the organization game that was kind of all over Summer Games Fest and Day of the Devs during summer this year. This is the one where
puzzle, where
you have
7 different ways to solve it thing.
Yeah, and you have like plates that you need to organize and pencils and stuff like that. And every once in a while, a cat will come in and mess the whole thing up. From previews that I've seen recently, they have they've changed a whole bunch of puzzle answers and sort of in-game settings where like you can turn off the cat kind of causing chaos if you really want, but they also have a setting kind of like Unpacking did, where it's like, here's the mode where you don't have to put everything in the place that we think it needs to be, because if you think that these pencils should be in this order, these keys should be in a different order because that's what makes sense, that's still fine. Which I kind of appreciate. I like that. Football Manager 2023 comes out Xbox One, Series consoles, Switch, and PC. That is Game Pass day and date.
Boy.
I've never seen that on console. I'm assuming that works fairly well.
It's surprisingly fine, but that's also just because it's spreadsheet the game.
Not a fast switch thing.
If you're a sports statistician,
yes,
I don't understand why there hasn't been a baseball manager like video game made based on how much Americans love their baseball stats.
No, there is one. It's the
MLB games.
Out of the park baseball is the spreadsheet one, right? Or is that that's Out of the Park Baseball, where it's they've been going for like 10 years or something. But they also have a like a simulated kind of in the stands view of a baseball game too. I don't think you can play the actual game in that one, like the actual baseball game. I think that one is the only stats focused too. So check that. But I think that's only PC. Yeah.
But Football Manager was one of those games that when I was a child and played my first PC games, that was definitely included on them because I'm English. Spoiler alert.
Right.
And it's one of those ones where it's very much like if you like your numbers, like it tweaked that dopamine section of my brain where it's just like, I bought this player and now my stats have gone up by this much and my team is suddenly winning all the time.
Right. My pitchers
as a Liverpool fan in the 90s, let me tell you, that was great to be able to make
we're winning
team.
Oddworld Soulstorm comes out on the Switch. That was the one that came out on PS5 last year, I think it was.
I believe so, yeah.
Reviews seemed okay for that one. Return to Monkey Island comes out on Series consoles and PS5. That is Game Pass day and date. Everyone seems to really like that. If you're kind of a Monkey Island fan already, the thing that I keep seeing all over Twitter is the director's cut dialogue option, where it's more blathering, less pacing, which is it adds a lot more text to the game, which is really great.
Of course.
Man, why don't video games have more of that?
I know, but put more stuff in there.
I say because like Ratchet and Clank kind of had that with like the museum stuff in there too. Where you had, like, the extra behind the scenes dialogue and all that.
Yeah, they haven't done that for a while, which has been kind of a bummer. Sifu comes out on Switch. That's that kind of beat 'em up game that came out earlier this year. Yeah, kind of a roguelike thing. Sonic Frontiers comes out Xbox One, Series consoles, PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC.
I highlighted this in the spreadsheet because this is coming out now? I thought this was like next year.
No, they have been showing very little of it, and what they have shown of it has not looked great, and I'm deathly curious what this is actually going to be, because for anyone that hasn't been keeping an eye on it, this is the open world Borgia Tower Sonic game. So like
Breath of the Hedgehog, as it should be called.
Yeah, it looks really wild, man. I don't know. I'm deathly curious to see what this actually turns out to be, because I'd really like this to be cool to see Sega actually pull off like a very different type of Sonic game, but it's also Sega, so they probably won't.
this has got Sonic 06 written all over it.
That's the real concern, man. Yeah. Yikes.
Just imagine having that massive map and being able to run wherever you want. You see that mountain there? You can get there in 2 seconds.
You can blue blur your way all the way up there. On the opposite end of the spectrum, God of War Ragnarok comes out this week on PS4 and PS5. You'll be shocked to know this has been getting very good reviews.
Yeah. Oh, who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
I have been listening to a lot of people talk about this as a FOMO, not going to be able to play it for a long time, if ever, kind of thing. Because I ain't cracking out my PS4 for God of War Ragnarok.
It's in storage. It's sleeping.
I'm just not.
Right.
But from everything I hear, is Kratos the therapist is hilarious story description to me that I'm super interested in playing.
Yeah, I know very little about this because a whole bunch of people got copies really early, and they have just been streaming it.
It's out there in Discord. It's really weird how many people have gotten copies of this already. Even someone in our chat already got theirs. They just can't play it because it's digital, so they have to wait.
They got the collectors or whatever edition. Yeah.
That hammer looks really dope, though.
Yeah. I was pretty happy with my... I pre-ordered this on PS5, and it would turn out to be 80-something gigs. I think it downloaded in 15 minutes. It's the first instance of PSN downloads being good, where I'm like, wow, all right. It didn't take the next 3 days to download something on my super big internet.
So that unlock code comes out, and it's 300.
Right. What was that, Moon?
It's God of War. They turned their internet up to 11. Of course,
right? Yeah, they put it on the good servers.
Yeah, these are the Azure servers now.
That's right. So we'll be talking about that in some forum next week. Vampire Survivors comes out on Xbox One and Series consoles this week. It is Game Pass day and date. Came out just in time for Moon and I to not play it on We Rogue Like It probably this year. So
it's a really good game, though.
Yeah, I will probably download it and check it out a little bit before we play it on We Rogue Like It.
It is very much one of those, just one more.
Yeah,
and then 5 hours later.
Right, it's 4 a.m. You're like, oh, God, just one more. Atari 50, the anniversary celebration, comes out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series console, Switch, and PC. I gotta give Digital Extremes a lot of credit for this one, because I think one of the worst things in video games for generations and generations has been we put 20 Atari games on this disc for the PS1, and it's $50. Half of them don't run right. Good luck. Yeah. But what's so cool about this one is, and thankfully they've been marketing this really well, is they've been doing a really good job of framing why these games were important with documents and interviews and stuff, where it's here is the dude who made the Atari 2600 talking about why these games are important. They have a ton of interviews, and there's a lot of stuff that they have emulated for the first time. And if you have a 3D printer, they put out a STL file for the Atari paddle to hook it up to your Xbox controller to make Arkanoid run correctly. So if you
don't have a 3D printer, check out your local library. Chances are they do.
Right. That's right. That's a good point. Resident Evil 2 comes out on the Switch. Please beware, this might be a cloud copy. I don't know for sure, but Capcom has been dipping their toes into that business, so please be careful. Yeah. Tactics Ogre Reborn comes out PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. If you have not played Tactics Ogre, this is one of the 2 best SRPGs of all time. The other one being Final Fantasy Tactics. You should really play this as long as this isn't a total trash fire. You can probably safely assume this is going to be a good one, because Square has hired British voice actors for this one, and they usually do that for the real hot stuff. So, Tactics Ogre is really good.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick that up.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick that up too. Graphics are unfortunate, but the gameplay should still be really great. And lastly here, Valkyrie Elysium comes out on the PC, which people seem to kind of like when it came out on consoles a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And of special note here, Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming out with its 40th anniversary update where they're adding a whole bunch of other stuff in it. Like, I think they're adding 12 more planes, including like an Airbus of some sort, and that's still on Game Pass. So if you haven't checked that out, you can do that. And you can also play the Pelican from Halo Infinite. So that's still in there as a wild
thing.
thing.
Concorde if it's not in there.
Someday if it's not in there, I'm sure that's coming. All right, let's talk about our two news stories here. First up, the PSVR 2 price and release date has been announced. It's coming out February 22nd, 2023 for the hot price of $550. So before we talk about that, the head, unlike the original headset, it does not require an external camera, which is a thing I forgot about. It uses inside-out tracking. They have announced 11 games to launch alongside of it, like Cities VR and the Dark Pictures VR game seem to be kind of the two coolest ones.
Yeah, and I think in the box it comes with that Horizon mountain climbing.
I think it does, or there's an edition that comes with it. It's a little confusing about... Unsurprisingly, a Sony hardware peripheral is a little confusing about what comes in the box and it doesn't. The other thing too is, thing I also forgot, the headset is not wireless. It does require one external cable.
Yeah.
But man, let's talk about the elephant in the room. That's more money than the console costs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I have seen a surprising number of people online being like, "Well, that's actually $550. That's actually a pretty good deal." And it's like, it might be. But boy, the optics are bad on that, man.
Like, if you are like us and you're kind of into this thing, and I'm peripherally, no pun intended, into that kind of thing, because I would love to have a VR space to set up. I might be able to get away with it in this room if it wasn't for the metal pipes above my head.
I was going to say, just watch your head on that pipe there.
Yeah.
Like, from what I understand, tech-wise, $550 is not a bad price for the stuff that's included in this.
For sure.
And everyone has always said that the PlayStation VR was the comfiest headset to put on your face and wear for an extended period of time.
Yep.
But oh boy, we're going to raise our console prices. And by the way, this extra peripheral is... I could have built a new PC rather than get a PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 VR.
And like, it's so frustrating watching Sony continually. They have a $400 console that is a fully powered PS5. It just doesn't come with the disc drive on it. And like, you see Microsoft with a weaker console, which is not a bad thing. Don't anybody at me. But they're doing such a great job of saying, like, look, we got the big beefy guy over here. It's X number of dollars. For a couple $100 less, you get one without a disc drive, and it's a little bit less powerful, but you probably don't care.
$200.
Right.
And it's...
And, like, Sony can't figure out, we have a $500 console with a disc drive, and the same console, it's no weaker and it's no slower, just without the disc drive, is over here at $100 less. And they like can't figure it out to try and like push anything positively. And then they come out and say, the headset's $550. It's like, just figure it out once, please.
Why didn't they use the discless PlayStation 5 to promote their streaming stuff, their upgrades to the PlayStation Plus and Super Plus and Mega
100%.
Plus?
Well, Moon, that would mean they had somebody in marketing.
Yeah, just like, it's just, I'm continually frustrated. I'm frustrated by both Microsoft and Sony, but in wildly different ways. But like, Sony just cannot get it together from a marketing standpoint. And they've had this problem for generations of like, here's our PS2 and the weirdest, grossest advertising. Good luck. And it's like, oh my god, what are you like?
Give
The
it a
console,
second job, and
yeah, like the console succeeded in spite of itself, but like they just cannot figure it out and they can't get it together, and it's so frustrating.
But
and yeah,
side noting all that, it sounds like with the tech that is in here, $550 is a good price for this.
It's just the optics of it. It really is like $50 more than the console is, and like I think when you compare apples to apples, kind of between the PSVR 1 and 2, like the first one needed the headset, and it needed the controllers, which you had to buy, and it needed the camera, which you needed to buy. So like you had all these extra.
It was the
purchases.
camera. There was also the external box that you had to plug into the back of your PlayStation Pro, and remember it had to be a Pro. And I know because I'm looking at the box right now on my stand.
Right. So like there were all these like Halo purchases around the first one, which they have gotten rid of with this one, but they're not doing enough of a thing saying like this, we're selling one box and it has everything in it to hook it up to your PS5, and also it doesn't play PSVR 1 games. Sorry about that. Like they're just
like if somebody like breaks this thing and makes it a PC viable headset, because I know the one you could, but the one was also you needed a beefy machine to basically work around
you had to kind of brute force it.
Yeah. If someone can basically quote unquote jailbreak this headset and make it a viable PC option as well, like that, why doesn't Sony just make it also viable for the PC, and then you'd sell a bajillion of them?
It's like
we've already been over this. They don't have anybody in marketing.
Well, it's just like the DualSense controller. They have drivers for PC. It just works. That's great. You have sold a butt ton of DualSense controllers. I own like 4 of them because I prefer it over the Xbox controller. So I use it in my PC. So like
and both versions of the Kinect connected straight to a PC.
Right. Yep. Or at the very least, Sony could just like look the other way. Be like, oh, somebody jailbroke on PC. That sure is a shame. You shouldn't do that. Wink. And then just like go about your day. But
and then a year from now you release an update that supports it. Whatever.
I don't know. It's just, I hope it does well. I hope some console, PSVR 1 didn't do really well because it was never really that great. I know the frame rate was bad, the tracking was bad, like everything was kind of bad about it. And it seems like the tech on this one is positive. They just need to get out in front of like all of the bad optics stuff. So
I'm planning on picking one up one day.
Yeah.
Not on release day, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Let me just add it to the list of things I need to do. So PC first, then PlayStation 5, then PlayStation VR.
Yeah, then a Steam Deck, and then, yeah.
Oh, and before all of that, pay off my credit card debt from
no big deal. Yeah.
That way you can add to the credit card debt for your loan that you need for your PlayStation VR.
Right. And last news story here, Dwarf Fortress's Steam and itch release date is slated for December. If you haven't been keeping track of this, hey, you all know about that Dwarf Fortress? Been in development for like 20 years now. The two brothers that develop it have connected with Kit Fox Games. They published Paparazzi and Boyfriend Dungeon. They are going to help the two brothers to publish Dwarf Fortress on more things and kind of like get them a little bit better kind of pipelines around the game. They're going to publish it on Steam and itch on December 6th, 2022. If you haven't seen what Dwarf Fortress will look like on the Steam release, you really should. There is a graphical tile set, and someone's going to be like, well, ASCII graphics. No, they're not. This has actual like pixel art things where you can tell what an @ symbol or what a caret symbol are instead of
the ASCII tile set is a GUI version 1.
Yeah, like it's really like that you could tell that was always like we can get this to work. Like here is a GUI, we can get this to work. It's fine enough to ship. But now, like if you want the game to kind of keep progressing and keep getting more popular, like RimWorld, then you need to go do that. Moon is cracking himself up.
Because I just remembered the GTA leaks and everything that happened after that, and a bunch of developers talking about how graphics are the first thing made for a video game and they should be amazing from the start.
Right.
And I'm just thinking about these guys tweeting the ASCII artwork saying graphics are the first thing made for a video game.
That's right, and it's like this @ symbol. That's a dwarf. There you go. The other thing that is notable is when this version comes out, this game will actually have a tutorial in-game. So you won't have to go by like the O'Reilly book or hit a wiki or something like that. So
hey, they take after Elite Dangerous. YouTube videos are the way to go.
That's right.
So they just hard link those videos into the tutorial.
Right. Just click this; it'll open your web browser. So I'm really
your console.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what this is going to turn out to be, because I've always wanted to start play Dwarf Fortress, and I always get an hour into it, and then I get lost, like going up and down levels of my fortress, and then I quit. So I'm hoping this does really well. I don't know how much this costs, but I think we'll find out here pretty shortly. So maybe go check out Dwarf Fortress. Fingers crossed. That's our episode for this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page over there. Don't forget our Patreon, patreon.com/E1M1.
Those ones be numbers.
Thank you. Get all the cool early access behind-the-scenes audio that we talked about before, and you can help support the show financially. I'm just remembering something that Moon told us that runs through his head every time I say that. Go listen to the Outcast, please, patrons. If you cannot support us with your monies, then you can support us by...
I've ruined it forever.
I know.
Ruined it forever. Pandora's box, and
that's
there's
right.
No turning back.
I gotta change my script here. You can support us by sharing the show online, telling your friends, rating, commenting, subscribing. All that stuff really, really does help everything you watch and listen to on the internet, including this show. And we greatly appreciate it. And we'll hope we'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 Nimp, I hope one of you guys have some titles, because I only have one.
I've got so many titles.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Hold on. Do we want to see a big guy for the live audience?
Big boy.
Because apparently he must have had you say the end of the show stuff.
That's right. Come here, big guy.
Yeah, kiddo, because we've still got a whole bunch more. Oh, come here.
Yep. It's a big guy.
Hello, big boy. There's a big boy.
For anyone listening to audio version, it's a large cat.
Yes, a very, very large cat.
Yep. See you, buddy.
All right.
All right.
So I have There's a Lot of Thinking, Pro Huntress Player, Hook or Crook, SWF Survive with Friends, If You Know, You Know, White Knuckling Storage, Infected with Venture Capital Funds, The Most Subtle DLC, Still the Shadow Guy, and No Devil Dinosaur Will Win This.
Moon, what do you have?
Okay. That's the wrong brand. Hook or Crook, Break from Beans, Hooligan at Heart, White Knuckling Storage, Pity 10, Spicy Meatballs of XP, Storage Woe Be Gone, Unleash the Xbox, That Was Forbidden, Post-Apocalyptic Model UN, and They Gave You Girl Pants.
Post-Apoc Model UN. All right, I have Neither Satisfying Nor Fun, SWF Survive with Friends, White Knuckling Storage, Infected with Venture Capital's Funds, or VC Funds, whichever one you want, Hook or Crook, or Post-Apocalyptic Model UN.
I'm kind of torn between White Knuckling and Post-Apocalyptic.
I am torn between white knuckling and infected with VC funds.
I'm torn between the white knuckling storage. I like the post-apocalyptic model UN a lot. I think that one gets my vote.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that being the one. I have to think of something different because the first thing that came to my head is not good.
Okay, I'll circle that one then.
I mean, it's good, but I don't think it's show appropriate, is what I should be saying.
Right. Oh, post-apocalyptic does have a dash in it. Okay. Good to know. I learned something new today. Everybody's got a thinking face on. Even the large cat.
I got one.
Oh, okay.
I got one, but it's kind of a deep, specific cut.
All right. I appreciate that. I feel like Nimp might be researching here.
Yeah, I am. There was something I wanted to go with, but I'm like, no, that's way too far in one direction.
Turn this down. Yeah, that's better. Less blinding in my eyeballs.
All right. I've got something.
Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 785 for November 7th, 2022. Post-Apocalyptic Model UN.
I will give you my entire army for all of your elephants.
This is where you learn that the world isn't run on unicorn farts and rainbows.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. I'm very happy I made it through the word post-apocalyptic. I did it right the first time.
Couldn't even get
Not
it
this
right.
one. See you next week. Bye.
Poke a hole UN. Woo!